Hi, this is Mandy from Sunflowers and Doors. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Out with a Bang. I'm still doing videos just because I still have lots and lots of papers left over from the collaboration. So I've just made some paper clips. I've just finished filming those. Excuse me, and they were a lot of fun. So I still have a load of stuff left, and I figured I need to do something with it, obviously. So these are all my scraps. I've got scraps coming out everywhere. So I thought, why not do a snippet roll? Grabbing all my scraps over here, and yeah, play with the snippet roll. I think that's probably it there. Another one there. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to, oops, almost lost my cutter. I'm going to use some of this paper. It's just coffee dyed paper that I had left over from a project where I did a journal, and I just needed a smaller page, so I cut this off the end, and rather than it go in my scrap bin, I'm going to pop it here. Well, they're not exactly the same size, but that's okay as well, because I can just cut a strip of that off. Not that you'll probably see much of this. So I was watching a video, I think it was Di from Messy Palette, and it was Use It or Lose It was the title of the video, and I thought, oh, do you know what, that's perfect, because I got so much that I just have hanging around. Sorry, I'm just going to straighten this a second because it is going to bother me. I'll take it a little bit thinner. So that is now one of my goals, I think, as well, is that I'm going to try to be better. What did I just lose all over the floor? I'm going to try to be better at using things, because I don't have the room anymore for collecting, you know, loads and loads of bits and pieces. So I have to start using up what I have or get rid of it. So now this is some of the pages from the kit. I'm just going to tear these into different strips. Not particularly measuring. Oops, daisy. It's not going to come off there, is it? Not particularly measuring as such. Just tearing them. I'm going to take the whites off the edges because I don't want those to be seen. You can cover so much up, can't you, with ink, but why create a job for yourself? Okay, I've also got this one here. And again, I'm just going to take these down a bit. and then I can just cut them into smaller pieces as I'm using them. So they've got a little bit more interest on them, so I'm going to leave those to one side, and I'm just going to start collaging with some of these smaller pieces. So I'm breaking them down. Some of them are going to be bigger, some of them are going to be smaller. Just as a starting point. Now you can ink around each individual piece if you want it to be really grungy, but I'm not overly concerned about that at the moment. I think I'm going to pop them on though with some glue stick, because I'm going to stitch around them at some point, so I don't need to be worrying too much. And again, I'm not worrying if I'm going over the edges. Because I can cut those back. And I'm just going to do a small snippet piece at the moment, because you can just add to them and add to them and add to them, which is what I might do later. But for now, I'm just going to go with what I've got here. Okay, and then I'm going to cut off the excess bits. Probably need bigger scissors than this, but up there a minute, because I don't know whether I'm going to use any of these, and as I said, I am going to be stitching over these, so I'm not worried too much about what's on them at the moment. I just want to inject some pops of colour in these top bits, because there's not loads and loads of colour up there. And the great thing with Snippet rolls is you can literally use them for anything. They're brilliant for things like pockets and belly bands, but you can use them for clusters, all sorts. They really are quite cool. Okay, so next I'm going to grab a stamp set or two. I knew that was going to happen. Right, what am I looking for? I think I'm going to go with some florals. Ink. Just going to go for some archival black. And I think I'm going to go with something really simple. And then I'll just pick up some little bits that I can pop on here, there and everywhere. So just to give it a little bit more interest, we'll put some black speckles on there. Now I also have somewhere some die cuts that I used. And as I said, I'm only going to do a small section of this at the moment, and I'll just carry on off camera for the rest, but just thought you might like to see some of these pieces. So we've got and again, this is adding some extra interest, but we got a little bit more texture now coming around in this one. I've absolutely been loving this collaboration. If you haven't been part of it, Out With A Bang, JJF, Out With A Bang 25, it's been amazing. So if you haven't been part of it, you seriously are missing out, and I would highly recommend you jump on over. I'll link the playlist below. There's been over 40 collaborators giving us videos throughout the month of August. And it's just been so much inspiration. So yeah, I would definitely, if you haven't already, think about popping over and having a look. These are just kind of like pop-up videos I'm doing. so they're not part of the prompt with the collaboration, but they are just additional videos that I wanted to kind of get in there. And I'm really, like I said, really enjoying it. So yeah, definitely recommend it. So I think that's okay for the flowers. I've got some numbers, but I also want to get some of these tickets. I said in my last video, I don't use these often enough, and I don't particularly like them, to be honest. But I think if I pop a few of these around, they may add a bit of interest to the project as well. So if I'm not using it, I'm losing it. It is, in fairness, I've said I'll do the rest of the snippet roll off camera, but it is easier to do it all in one hit if you can. It's almost like a bit of a mini masterboard, I suppose. You could even, with the size of this, you could even use this as tags and cut out pieces and then back them and use them as journal cards or tags. That's another option. I don't want to cover too much there. Pop it there like that. And I'll cut off that excess bit. Pop that there. And there's no right or wrong with creating things like this, as in where do you stop, when do you stop. It's literally just a case of just keep going until you think, no, that's enough. I'm happy to stop there, you know. So I'm going to couple of these with some red bits on, which I can see in there. So there's one there. There's one there, one there, and there's one more I can see there. I don't think I'm going to need any more from there because I want to get these black pieces on as well. So let's just get these on first. And again, I suppose part of the secret is not to overthink it. I spend so much time placing things and then moving them and then replacing them and moving them, and that you get to a point in the end where you just lose it. So don't overthink. is probably my advice. And then we've got these numbers that I want to pop on here somewhere. These are just die cuts from some numbers I had from Tim Holtz, and again I didn't use them. So I'm finally getting round to trying to use up stuff I've got. Could have done with another one down here. Okay, now do I add some of this faux tape or do I add more stamps? Let's try the faux tape first. I'm literally just going to go with small like snippets of it. Because I don't want it to be overwhelming. One more. And that is the start of our snippet roll. In fact, I think I'm going to turn them into tags straight away. So let's see how big it is. So 30, 39. So if I do 13, 13, 13. I think I better take a photo first. Okay, so the only thing is it's going to cut some of this stuff in half, which isn't great, but it's also okay. So let's give these a rounding. It's a little bit thicker than I normally use. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to ink around them. I'm going to use walnut stain because it's quite a dark colour. And then if you want to back them to use them as journal cards, then you can do that. But I've also got the coffee dye paper on the back of these at the moment, so don't necessarily need to do that. Just need to cover up some of this white, which is like the hangover. I might want to glue a little bit of that back down. And then if you're going to stitch them, then stitch them. And then do I want, excuse me, tabs for these? Or could I use tickets as the tabs? Let's have a look at that first. So that would kind of be like that. Which is quite big. Oh, there's that. Which I'd cut down a bit. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So I'll use this paper, create a tab, it's tricky when you're trying to use such small scraps of paper. There's one, so So I think that would probably go on that one. And then I think I'm going to use this. There. Have I got any more? Have I got any more? Not that colour, I don't. But I do have a lighter colour that will work. So I'm just going to ink around these. Sorry, that's a keyring you can see bobbing around the screen. Two. Didn't mean to do that side, I meant to do that side. And I'm just going to take it a little bit off these corners, round them a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to stitch them and then we'll see what they look like. Okay, so just stitched around it a few times, scruffy stitching, a little bit of thread hanging down. So that is number one. That is number two, which is a bit scruffier. And that is number three. So, do we want to do anything else? $1,000,000 question. Well, I have some, I think these ones are portraits. Some of them are Tim Holtz, but some of them I think Tracy Fox's, which are smaller ones. but they are quite light. So I'm going to have a quick look and see whether I want to play with any of these in addition. Love that one. That was quite cool considering it's, so is that one. And have we got any? Might work. That one's really fun. So let's have a look at those. My desk is getting fuller by the minute. So I really do want to use that one because that is super fun. But I don't want to be hiding loads of stuff either. Which I think I'm going to do if I use that. That one, let me just ink around that and see if I can. No, I don't think any of these are going to go. Actually, I think it was just a bit of a bad idea. But what will go, let's just add in a couple of these where perhaps I've missed. So that one there will go on top of the tab, just to finish that off. And I'll put that over to the one side a little bit. And then that one will go underneath it, I think. Over here. Actually put it on like that. And then have I got some different shape roundy ones. Don't think that's going to go, but that will. So it's going to go there. And that one can go there. So 3 tags out of what I've started off creating was the snippet roll, which you could do as a snippet roll, or you could do it as a belly band, a masterboard. You can do it as loads of things, and then you can use it as loads of things like your belly bands or your tags or your whatever. But there are 3 tags now completed from my kind of belly bandy, I keep saying belly bands, from my snippet roll. And I really like how they've come out. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. Hope you enjoyed. Love to know what you think. Please feel free to leave a message in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will catch you in the next video. But until then, as always, stay safe and be well. Bye for now.